Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing Psymin from VulNyx. This is box art about solid easy. And yeah, let's get on to the video. As always, I'm starting by splitting my terminals here. So we're doing a now discover my SAR 10.0.0.1/24/I20. We want to grep out for PCS. We do get IP the box 10.0.109. So I'll do Control Shift Z to run map scan. So do MMISSC for default customized information. Let's count ports on the IP. Doing this, I'll do my ZV verbose. We have a total of 2 ports open, port 80 open for, or 3 ports, port 80 open for HTTP, port 22 open for SSH, and also port 3000. We can run like a banner grab against port 3000, but I'm gonna start visiting port 80. Here we do get a NGINX. I'm gonna control your source code. It doesn't seem like we need anything. So I'm start running, doing more enumeration, running a GoBuster. So do GoBuster dir mode -u into the IP address. We'll do -u user share word list, run a dirbuster. Directory list, open the medium.txt with extensions HTML, TXT, and also PHP. And we only get a index.html. Looking back at the ports, we have another port for port 3000. We can run a banner grab against this. So do netcat -nv on 10.0.0.109 for port 3000. And here we do get a PSY shell version 0.12.4. I do want to make sure, I just want to run like a help command. And I guess these are the commands we can run. I'm going to do we have where am I? We have a dump, we have an ls. I'm going to see if I can execute any, this seems to be in PHP, version 8.2.20. So I just want to search out for PHP execute command and see if I can run any of these functions here. So the basic one that we do have is going to be exec. We can just run any command. We do ID to see what user we're under. And it doesn't seem like they took off the function command for, or the function for exec, right? Let me see if I can go to shell_execute. We'll just run a ID command. And doesn't shell_exec for ID. Seems about right. And they took off the function for shell_exec. So I want to check if we can do like PHP to check what user we're under. In this case, let's get the current working directory. We can get the CWD, so we can get CWD. And through here, we can get the current working directory. And it seems like we are under home Alfred. Let's get the current user. We can get current_user. And we are under Alfred. Since we are under home Alfred, and also the user under Alfred, let's see if I can get like a get_file contents. This will get the contents of any file that I do want. Since we're under Alfred, we can go under /home. I do want to start by checking for some private keys. So we'll go under /home.sh for our home Alfred for .sh and checking if we can get that ID_RSA, right? Seems about right. Let's see if we can get content file get contents. So it's file_get_ contents. So go under home Alfred. We'll do ID_RSA. Press enter on that. And we do get the contents for this private key. So I'm going to VI into ID_RSA since we do have the private key for Alfred. Let's delete this. I'm going to right quit. Let's go to, I'm open this within LeafPad for ID_RSA. We can copy this, do Shift Tab to get the private key. I'm going to VI into ID_RSA. We want to delete anything that is under for \n. So I believe you can do a %s for the \n. \n, of course, will delete the character that's specified. So you'll see that it does have the character specified for \n. Press it on that. We can delete all the \n. We don't have any ends on the end over here. Now we do have the ID_RSA. So I'll do chmod700 for ID_RSA. We'll SSH into Alfred, which is at 10.0.0.109 for ID_RSA. We do yes. And we do have a passphrase for this ID_RSA. So I'll do SSH to John. This will convert this into a hash that we can crack for this ID_RSA. Now I'm just going to output this like a file.txt. Got the file.txt. Now we do have our hash. We'll do John ---- word list for is equal to user share word list rocku.txt for that crack.txt or for that file.txt. So do John ---- show for file.txt. And now we do have the password, which is going to be for Alfredo, or the key or the password for the passkey for the ID_RSA. We do ID, and now we're in Alfred. So I'm going to cd into var. I'm going to do some enumeration under backups. Nothing under here. Go into var www.html. And we only do have an .xhtml, which confirms what we found on GoBuster, right? So I'm going to start by checking before I do run a PSPY, or not PSPY, but before I do run a lin piece, I do want to run a SS command, which will allow me to view the connections on the box. So we do have port 3000, port 22. These are just the common ports that we did find, the 3 common ports, but we do have a port for 10,000. So I do want to run a wget for HTTP. We'll do 10, or I can just run this with the IP address or localhost. Usually when I'm local, I usually just run the 127 for a local address. We can do this on port 10,000. We do have an index.html that we did get from the site. And it does seem like we do have a website on running on port 10,000, right? So since we do have a port running on port 10,000, I do want to use Chisel to port forward this port. I believe you can use SSH as well, but my preferred method is using Chisel. So I'm going to do mkdir for forward. I'm going to do a which Chisel. We do have this under user bin Chisel. So I'm going to copy that binary to here. And now we do have Chisel. So I'm going to run Chisel. We can do a we can do a server since we're going to run the client, or we're going to run the client on the target machine. So do ---- reverse. We can do ---- port for what is port 9000. And now we're listing on port 9000 as the server. So we'll just keep that command history. We'll do python 3 -m http.server on port 8081. I want to copy that Chisel. We'll cd into /dev shm. wget from HTTP 10.0.0.175 on port 881 for Chisel. And we can make this into executable. So we should have Chisel on here. So I'll run this within the client. I believe within the client we can do 10.0.0.175. We're running this on port. We're running this on port 9000, which is listening on 9000. We want to do a -r for the port. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll do a ss -tlmvp. We do this for port 10,000. We run Chisel. We'll do 127.0.0.1. We'll just on port 10,000, and I guess we'll do this on 10,000 as well, right? So it does seem to be connected on port 10,000. So now if we do check locally, if I run an mmap, I believe I do have this under my host file. We can just run this within localhost, right? We do have port 10,000. So I'm going to run a localhost for 10,000. And here we do have admin and also a password. I'm going to control use source code. And it doesn't seem like we do anything under here. I'm going to check for default creds. If we search up a webmin before brute forcing, I usually like checking if we do have a valid just default username and password. So if I do webmin like default creds, we do have the username which is going to be for roots. So I'll try that for the username and password. And we're able to log into webmin. So it does seem like we have default creds for webmin. I believe I have been under webmin before. We do have a CLI or under here, which I believe it does connect through if we do ID, we're just under roots. But if I just exit out here, we can go to, so you can go to tools, go to command shell. We can execute commands. We do ID, we under root. But the problem with this is that we do have a CLI, but it's not going to be under our shell. So I do want to get a reverse shell. So I'm going to check if we do have, I do want to check if we do have Python 3. So I do which Python 3. Doesn't seem like we do have Python 3, so I'll do get install Python 3. We'll just do a Python 3 -y. This will install Python. While that is installing, we can go to Pentest Monkey. I do want to get a reverse shell for Python 3. So we'll do 10.0.0.175. Put this on 9001. We'll change this to Python 3. We do have the specified ports and also the IP address. So I'm going to copy that. We do have Python 3. So you just run a which Python 3. You see that we do have we do have this under bin Python 3. So I'm going to start my listener. So I'll do all wrap cat -lmvp on 9001. We can execute that command. We do ID now under root. So we'll do bash -i. I'll export my term is equal to xterm. Come our terminals here. We cat our root.txt. Well, guys, pretty much in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.